Have you ever pondered about the state of world affairs and how many countries are currently entangled in warfare? An intriguing question, isn't it? Our world, as vast and diverse as it is often shaken by conflicts that ripple across nations, shaping the very fabric of global politics. Understanding these conflicts, their origins, and their far-reaching implications is not just a matter of curiosity. It's a way of making sense of the world we live in, of seeing the bigger picture beyond our immediate surroundings. It's about acknowledging the impact of these wars on economies, societies, and human lives on a scale that is often hard to comprehend. It's about recognizing that we are all, in some way, affected by these global conflicts. Today, we are going to journey together into the heart of these conflicts, exploring the most recent hotspots of tension and strife around the world. So buckle up and stay tuned as we delve into the most recent conflicts happening around the globe. The Middle East, a region known for its rich history, also bears the scars of numerous ongoing conflicts. This region, a crossroads of civilizations, is a melting pot of cultures, religions, and languages. However, it's also a stage where power plays, ideological clashes, and resource wars unfold. Let's delve into the underlying causes of these conflicts without pinpointing specific countries. Many of these clashes are fueled by historical enmities, territorial disputes, and political ideologies. Some date back centuries, entwined with the region's complex history and cultural tapestry. Others are more recent, ignited by the sparks of the 20th century's geopolitical shifts and the quest for natural resources. Religion plays a significant role in the Middle East's conflicts. The region is the birthplace of several major world religions, and differences in belief systems often exacerbate political tensions. This religious diversity, while enriching the region's cultural landscape, has also been a source of discord. Another key factor is the abundance of natural resources, particularly oil. The Middle East holds a significant portion of the world's oil reserves, making it a strategic prize for both regional and international powers. This wealth, however, has often been a curse rather than a blessing, as it fuels competition and conflict. Various parties are involved in these conflicts, from local groups to national governments and international powers. Often these parties have differing agendas and interests, complicating the dynamics of the conflicts. In many cases, local groups seek autonomy or greater political representation, while national governments strive to maintain control and stability. International powers, on the other hand, often have strategic interests in the region, influencing the conflicts from afar. These conflicts have had a significant impact on the region. They have led to loss of life, displacement of people, economic instability, and destruction of infrastructure. The human cost is enormous, with countless lives disrupted and communities torn apart. Economically, the conflicts disrupt trade and development, hamper investment, and strain public resources. Infrastructure, from roads and hospitals to schools and water systems, often bears the brunt of these clashes, further exacerbating the humanitarian crises. Moreover, the conflicts in the Middle East have implications beyond the region's borders. They impact global energy markets, influence international relations, and contribute to global security concerns. In conclusion, the Middle East's conflicts are complex and multifaceted, rooted in a mix of historical, cultural, religious, political, and economic factors. The parties involved have diverse and often competing interests, adding layers of complexity to the conflicts. The impact of these conflicts is felt not only in the region but also globally, affecting everything from human lives to international politics. Despite the ongoing turmoil, the Middle East remains a region of great cultural richness and historical significance. Its conflicts, while troubling, are part of its intricate tapestry, reflecting the complexities of human societies. The Middle East, a region of great historical significance, continues to be a hotbed of conflict. From the Middle East, we now turn our attention to the African continent, where several nations are grappling with internal strife. Africa, the cradle of humanity, a land of contrast and diversity, is caught in a web of conflicts that spans across its vast expanse. These conflicts, both long-standing and recent, are a complex tapestry woven from threads of power struggles, ethnic tensions, resource disputes, and political instability. Power struggles are a common theme across the continent. Leaders, both legitimate and self-proclaimed, vie for control, often disregarding the welfare of their people. These struggles can manifest as violent coups, rebellion, or civil wars. The desire for power and control is a driving force behind many of these conflicts, with the objective often being control over the state and its resources. Ethnic tensions are another significant cause of conflict in Africa. The continent's rich cultural diversity, while a source of pride, can also be a source of division. Historically, colonial powers drew borders without regard to the ethnic and cultural groups within them. This disregard has led to a legacy of tension and conflict between different ethnic groups, often fueled by perceived or actual inequities in the distribution of resources and power. Speaking of resources, Africa is a continent rich in natural resources, from oil to diamonds, gold to coltan. Unfortunately, this wealth has not always brought prosperity. Instead, it has often been a curse, leading to conflicts known as resource wars. These battles are not just about control of the resources, but also about the wealth and power they bring. Resource-rich regions often become battlegrounds, with local communities caught in the crossfire. Political instability, too, is a significant contributor to conflict. Unstable governments, corruption, and lack of good governance often lead to social unrest and conflict. When citizens feel their leaders are not acting in their best interests, it can lead to protests, rebellions, and in some cases full-blown civil wars. These conflicts have had a tremendous impact on the continent. Lives are lost, families are torn apart, and communities are displaced. The economic cost is also immense, with conflicts draining resources that could be used for development. Yet, amid the turmoil, there are stories of resilience and hope. Stories of communities coming together to rebuild, of peace agreements being reached, and of efforts towards reconciliation and healing. In understanding these conflicts, it's crucial to remember that they are not the whole story of Africa. They are part of a larger narrative, one that also includes incredible cultural richness, breathtaking natural beauty, and immense potential. The African continent, rich in culture and resources, faces its own share of conflicts. However, it also harbors a resilient spirit that continues to strive for peace and prosperity. Moving from Africa, we find ourselves in Asia, where several countries are embroiled in conflicts. In this vast and diverse continent, the causes of these conflicts are as varied as the countries themselves. They range from territorial disputes and ethnic tensions to political power struggles and economic disparities. Each conflict, though unique in its origins and characteristics, contributes to the overall instability and unrest in the region. One of the most prevalent causes of conflict in Asia is territorial disputes. These disputes often stem from historical grievances, colonial-era borders, or competing national interests. They can involve disputes over islands, maritime boundaries, or resource-rich areas, and they often escalate into military confrontations. Ethnic tensions also play a significant role in many Asian conflicts. The continent's rich tapestry of cultures and ethnicities, while a source of cultural richness, can also be a source of division. Ethnic minorities in many countries often face discrimination, marginalization, or even violence, leading to social unrest and, in some cases, outright conflict. Political power struggles are another common cause of conflict in Asia. Whether it's a struggle between rival political factions, between the government and opposition groups, or between the state and separatist movements, these conflicts often result in violence and instability. They can lead to crackdowns on political freedoms, human rights abuses, and even civil war. Economic disparities, too, contribute to conflict in Asia. In many countries, the gap between the rich and the poor is widening, leading to social unrest and conflict. Economic inequalities can also exacerbate other issues, such as ethnic tensions or political power struggles, further fueling conflict. The parties involved in these conflicts are as varied as the causes. They can range from national governments and military forces to rebel groups, ethnic militias, and even foreign powers. These parties often have differing and sometimes competing interests and objectives, making conflict resolution a complex and challenging task. The impact of these conflicts on the region is profound. They can lead to loss of life, displacement of people, and destruction of infrastructure. They can also hinder economic development, exacerbate social inequalities, and strain relations between countries. Moreover, they can destabilize the region, creating a breeding ground for terrorism and other forms of violence. But despite these challenges, there are also efforts to resolve these conflicts. Diplomatic negotiations, peace treaties, and international interventions are just some of the ways in which these conflicts are being addressed. And while progress may be slow and fraught with setbacks, these efforts offer a glimmer of hope in a region often marred by conflict. Asia, the world's largest continent, is not immune to the scourge of conflict. Yet, amid the struggles and strife, the resilience and spirit of its people shine through, offering a beacon of hope for a more peaceful future. Europe, a continent known for its diverse cultures and historical significance, also houses its own conflicts. It's a fascinating paradox. On one hand, Europe is recognized for its commitment to diplomacy, unity, and peace. On the other hand, it continues to face a variety of conflicts, some deeply rooted in history, others emerging from contemporary issues. Let's delve into the nature of these conflicts without pinpointing specific countries. We'll look at the causes, the parties involved, and the impact these disputes have on the continent. Firstly, the conflicts in Europe cannot be understood without acknowledging the historical context. The continent's rich and complex history has left a legacy of territorial disputes, ethnic tensions, and differing political ideologies. Some of these disagreements date back centuries, passed down through generations, and have shaped the geopolitical landscape of Europe. Next, let's talk about the parties involved in these conflicts. They can range from nation-states to ethnic groups, from political organizations to separatist movements. These parties often have divergent interests and goals, making the resolution of these conflicts challenging. Some seek autonomy or independence, while others strive for political power or control over resources. The dynamics of these conflicts can be intricate and multifaceted, reflecting the diversity of Europe itself. Economic disparities also play a significant role in these conflicts. Europe is a continent of contrasts, with some of the world's wealthiest nations and others struggling with economic instability. These economic imbalances can lead to tensions and conflicts, as parties vie for resources and opportunities. The impact of these conflicts on Europe is far-reaching. They can destabilize regions, disrupt economies, and strain relations between nations. They can also have a profound effect on the daily lives of the people living in these conflict zones. In some cases, these disputes can lead to violence, displacement, and humanitarian crises. However, it's important to note that Europe has also been a pioneer in conflict resolution and peace building. The continent has numerous institutions and mechanisms in place to manage and resolve conflicts. These include diplomatic negotiations, legal arbitration, and peacekeeping missions. Despite the challenges, Europe's commitment to peace and unity remains steadfast. To conclude, the conflicts in Europe are a testament to the continent's complex history and diversity. They are a reminder that even in a region known for diplomacy and unity, disputes and disagreements can and do arise. However, with its commitment to conflict resolution and peace building, Europe continues to strive towards a peaceful and unified future. Europe, despite its reputation for diplomacy and unity, still grapples with its own share of conflicts. We round off our global tour in the Americas, where conflicts are present as well. The Americas, a continent spanning from the icy tundras of the north to the vibrant rainforest of the south, is not without its share of conflict. While it might not make the headlines as frequently as other regions, the Americas are home to numerous ongoing disputes that have profound impacts on the lives of the people living there. Many of these conflicts stem from a complex mix of historical, political, and social factors. In some cases, the roots can be traced back to colonial times, while others are the product of more recent developments. Regardless of their origins, these conflicts often involve a wide range of parties, from national governments to local communities and even non-state actors. One common thread running through many of these conflicts is the struggle for resources, from water rights in arid regions to disputes over mineral-rich land. The fight for control over natural resources, plays a significant role in many of the disputes in the Americas. These battles often pit local communities against powerful corporations, or even against their own governments. Another key factor in many conflicts across the Americas is the issue of indigenous rights. For centuries, indigenous peoples have fought for recognition and respect for their lands and cultures. This struggle continues today, often manifesting as conflicts over land rights and cultural preservation. These conflicts, while often overlooked, have significant impacts on the region. They can disrupt local economies, displace populations, and lead to human rights abuses. Additionally, they can also contribute to larger global issues, such as climate change and biodiversity loss. It's also important to note that these conflicts do not exist in isolation. They are interconnected, with events in one area often influencing the situation in others. This makes them not just regional, but global issues that require international attention and cooperation. The Americas, both North and South, are not exempt from the reality of conflict. As we bring our journey to an end, it's clear that conflicts are a global issue. From the Middle East to Africa, Asia to Europe, and all the way to the Americas, no corner of the world is untouched by the throes of conflict. Each one, no matter how remote or localized, has a profound impact on the lives of those directly involved, and many more around the world. In the Middle East, we see the intricate interplay of religion, politics, and resources creating a web of tension and conflict that spans across national borders. These conflicts are not isolated incidents, but rather part of a larger narrative that shapes the region's political landscape and influences global politics. Africa, a continent rich in diversity and resources, is marred by internal strife and external interference. From territorial disputes to fights over resources, these conflicts not only destabilize individual nations, but also have ripple effects across the continent and beyond. Asia, the world's most populous continent, is also no stranger to conflict. From territorial disputes in the South China Sea to ongoing tensions on the Korean Peninsula, these conflicts have wide-ranging implications for the region and the world at large. Europe, often seen as a beacon of peace and stability, is not immune to conflict. The ongoing tensions in Eastern Europe serve as a stark reminder of the continent's turbulent past and the potential for future conflicts. Lastly, the Americas, though seemingly distant from many of the world's hotspots, are deeply connected to these conflicts through economic, political, and social ties. From the drug wars in Central and South America to political tensions in North America, these conflicts shape the continent's political landscape and impact global dynamics. Understanding these conflicts and their impacts is not just an academic exercise. It's crucial for anyone interested in world politics. It helps us anticipate potential future crises, understand current events, and play a more informed role in our global community. Remember, understanding is the first step towards resolution. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to comment and subscribe for more insightful content.